Welcome back. Today, we have the privilege of speaking with SYM Radio, a prominent part-time YouTube content creator known for breaking news on true crime, missing persons, human trafficking, and child abduction. His mission is to raise awareness about these crucial issues and amplify the voices of families in desperate need. Together, we'll explore the family accounts, the strategies employed by law enforcement, and the emotional impact on those waiting for answers. SYM Radio, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on, and you can call me by my first name, Dave.
Thank you, Dave, for joining us. To start, can you share your thoughts on the significance of these search efforts and what they reveal about the challenges faced in cases like this?
Yes, imagine a search so vast, so relentless. Over a 10-day period, it logged over 12,000 hours of manpower. Helicopters, thermal drones, and more than 160 search and rescue professionals combed 8.5 square kilometers of unforgiving wilderness. Yet, after all that effort, the result remains chilling: nothing.
Nothing?
Nope, nothing found by searchers, and no trace of Lilly or Jack, except a piece of Lilly's blanket found next to a boot print on the pipeline trail found by the family.
What factors do you think contributed to the inability to find any trace of the missing individuals, despite such extensive search efforts?
Well, 3 years before post-tropical storm Fiona hit the area. So the thick underbrush and trees can obscure visibility, making it difficult for searchers to spot any signs of the missing individuals. I've sent you some clips I would like you to play. One talking about the search efforts, and an interview with the RCMP from CBC News in Halifax that you can play after I give some information on the case. This is the case of 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother, Jack Sullivan, who vanished from their rural Nova Scotia home. The key question investigators and the public are still grappling with 5 months later: how do 2 small children simply vanish without a trace? You can play that clip now.
Okay, I have that one right here. The other ones are still uploading, so let's play that one.
You'll be able to authorize and start getting some search teams going to the airlocked location.
Radio chatter, search crews and first responders mobilizing in a quest no one dreamed would take this long.
Make sure Mom stays close to the house there in case they happen to sneak out and get back into the house. A lot of area to cover. We're out in the sticks here.
The mystery of what happened to 6-year-old Lily Mae Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack William James Sullivan is indeed gripping the country and beyond. For 6 days, crews tackled an exhaustive search. The children's mother took the baby to be with her family in another part of the province. Her mother told CBC News the RCMP told them not to speak with news reporters. The RCMP says it just advised everyone to be mindful of the information they share publicly. On May 7th, police scaled back the search.
The probability of survival is taken into consideration.
But search crews returned for 2 more weekends until the end of May, searching wells, mine shafts, and septic systems, even flying a drone beneath the home.
The 4-year-old is wearing some blue dinosaur boots.
Police say they found a boot print. And listen to this in the radio chatter.
Families brought us to a location there not far away that there's a piece of a blanket.
Police won't say anything about a blanket, but Martel says a piece of Lily's blanket was found near the boot print. He says both children may have undiagnosed autism. The force has received close to 500 tips, some that have taken them elsewhere in the country. But the only confirmed sighting of Jack and Lily was the day before they disappeared in Nova Scotia. Martel says the children were seen on camera with the whole family. Still, police are asking for trail camera footage in the area dating back 5 days. They say they're trying to establish a timeline in the lead-up to the disappearance.
So when teams are tasked, they get a bearing.
Crews have searched around 8.5 square kilometers.
Coming up through all of this stuff.
Amy Hansen has been the search manager for most of that. She's taking us into the woods to show us what her team has been dealing with.
The vast majority of it was probably from Fiona.
Downed trees from post-tropical storm Fiona 3 years ago.
This is actually fairly mild compared to some of the areas.
Over a total of 10 days, they searched for 12,000 hours.
It's pretty much unheard of in this province. It's the biggest search I've been involved in.
And she's been at this 22 years.
Do you think those kids are in the woods?
From everything I've seen, yes.
Why can't you find them?
They're small, they'd be hiding. They would have crawled underneath something probably when they got tired. They could have gone further than what we searched. There's all kinds of scenarios, unfortunately.
Before we go into the next clip, what specific criteria must be met, or what evidence must be found, for the investigation to pivot from a missing persons case to a criminal investigation or to a non-suspicious conclusion?
The case is currently being investigated under the Missing Persons Act. The RCMP considers every missing persons investigation suspicious until it is proven that it is not. The police need information to say that the case is not suspicious in order to stop treating it that way. A major crimes officer stated that they have not collected evidence, facts, or information that suggests criminal investigation or charges at this time. The involvement of the Major Crime Unit is primarily due to the large size and volume of information that needs to be collected, managed, collated, and reviewed.
Why does the RCMP still maintain the theory that Lilly and Jack may have simply wandered off into the woods?
Well, the investigation began with the information that the children wandered off away from the property around 10 a.m. on May 2nd. RCMP have repeatedly stated that no evidence has been found to suggest the children were abducted. Furthermore, a search manager in the video that you played said she believes the children are in the woods because they are small. They'd be hiding, or they would have crawled underneath something when they got tired. Although cadaver dogs searched the property and surrounding areas, they did not find or signify any human remains. However, Major Crimes noted that they cannot say with 100% certainty that human remains are not there, as the dogs may have missed a scent due to conditions or other factors.
Why is establishing a timeline starting April 28th critical to this investigation, and what specifically are investigators looking for in the vehicles and activity captured in the hundreds of hours of video footage collected?
RCMP are seeking dashcam or trail camera footage dating back to April 28th because they are trying to establish a timeline in the lead-up to the disappearance. The investigators want to know where the children were prior to their disappearance and if they were in contact with someone. They are specifically examining the footage for the traffic of vehicles on the roads in the area. They are looking for vehicles that may have been traveling the area frequently or non-local vehicles to rule out local traffic. Investigators had received hundreds of hours of video footage for review. Corporal Tremblay of the Nova Scotia RCMP talks all about this in the clip I sent you.
Okay, let's go ahead and listen in.
To be clear, we don't have evidence to suggest that an abduction took place at this time.
Is it something you're still investigating, whether or not they could have been abducted?
So we're exploring all investigative avenues. So on the morning of May 2nd, approximately 10 a.m., RCMP officers received a call about 2 missing children in Lansdowne Station. The information at the time was that they wandered off away from the property, and I can tell you that our officers got at the scene very quickly, and we were monitoring the situation and hopefully finding the children very soon after that.
So it's very quickly. Officers arrive, and then what? You expected, it sounds like you're saying, that you'd find the children quickly, or hoped you would anyways. That didn't happen.
So Kayla, what I can tell you, from experience, you look at missing children. I've been involved with a handful of cases since I've been with Strategic Communications. Most oftentimes, the children are located very quickly after officers arrive at the scene, right? And that's our hope every single time, that they wandered off and you can find the children. Because I'm sure, like every officer out there, I'm not on the road currently, but your heart is pounding, the adrenaline is rushing, you're trying to find those children, right?
And this case started just like that?
That's
what you're
correct.
describing, you thought you'd go there, find them very quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. And our officers were nearby in an ongoing search for a kayaker that had gone missing the day prior. So, I can tell you I was monitoring the situation remotely, and our officers, I could tell they were getting there as quickly as possible.
There are some, as you are aware, many theories out there. Some people think, well, maybe it's really just a tragic accident. Maybe they just wandered off into the woods. But you've said that it's suspicious. So at the very least, why does the RCMP view this case as suspicious?
So every missing persons investigation is suspicious until it's proven that it's not. If we don't have that information to say that it's not suspicious, we have to continue to assume that it is suspicious and access those resources and tools and follow up those tips and find that evidence until we find the people that are missing.
So you don't think they were abducted, but you can't find them. How do two young children just vanish?
That's a great question, Kayla. And we are asking for the public for tips and information. And to date, we've received close to 500 tips. So we have to follow up on those tips, right? Whether it's a tip that indicates that there could be something that happened elsewhere in the province, elsewhere in the country, we have to follow up on those investigative tips to rule them out. And to this date, we haven't had any confirmed sightings.
But there have been tips that lead you to other parts of the country that you had to check.
As with any investigation, oftentimes we do get tips that you have to verify that are elsewhere, yes.
You have said that the children were last seen alive the day before. Can you tell me about the nature of that?
So we know they were seen in public with loved ones the day prior. The specifics aren't being released at this time.
Okay, and so that's the day before, so that's May 1st, but you've specifically asked for video back to April 28th. What's the reason for that?
When you establish a timeline for any investigation, you want to know where these individuals were prior. They may have been in contact with someone that you want to know who that person is. You may see something on that footage that you didn't know about prior to that. We talked about license plates earlier and seeing them from a different angle. You might see someone that's known elsewhere. Maybe it's someone that's known to police. You never know. We really are seeking all investigative avenues in this case.
There have been some complaints that an Amber Alert was not issued. I understand that the criteria is very specific. Was that considered? Is it still possible?
Absolutely, Kayla. On the day of the incident, I can tell you I was working. I reviewed the policy that morning. We have to have a suspect or a person of interest when it comes to abduction or a vehicle. In terms of sending out an alert, when you send an Amber Alert, you want to direct the public to look for a specific vehicle, to look for that license plate, to look for that suspicious person, to have a photo of someone or more information to suggest that there was an abduction. In this case, they are young children, certainly vulnerable people, and a vulnerable person alert was issued.
Does the RCMP know what happened here? Even if you can't tell me, do you know?
So what I can tell you is that we're exploring all investigative avenues.
Do you have a case? Are you building a specific case that's leading you in a certain direction?
In this case, the investigation is still being investigated under the Missing Persons Act.
It sort of seems from the last news release that you issued, the reason I'm asking these questions, I read that news release and I thought, I don't think they have any idea what happened here.
When it comes to missing people, it's very complex. It can be very long-term investigations. It can be difficult on first responders, especially when it involves vulnerable people. And we have to be patient, and we have to follow the leads and follow the facts and evidence that we gather to bring us to locating the children.
Does the RCMP think Lilly and Jack could still be alive?
That's a great question, and we want to locate them and find them. And our goal is to investigate every single avenue until we find them.
Is it possible at this point?
That's a great question, and our role is to find them in the evidence surrounding their disappearance.
You mentioned a lot of the tips you're getting. I'm sure you're aware there's extraordinary public interest in this case. Some people are frustrated that the RCMP is not saying more. We understand it's an active investigation. And in some cases, the lack of information leads to speculation, and rumors are rampant online, and that's done some harm on the family in this case as well. What, though, would you say to the public who are begging for answers and just want to know what's happened here?
We have to be patient and certainly rely on our news releases and official sources of information. Don't listen to to those rumors that are out there. We're putting out those news releases on a regular basis with information pertaining to the investigation. We have to be very cautious as to what type of information we release because we want to make sure that it doesn't affect the investigation.
I think some people in the public are starting to wonder, is it possible that we may never find out what happened to Lilly and Jack? Is that possible?
I wouldn't be able to answer you that question today, but I can tell you that our investigators are seasoned. They are committed. I've worked with some of them personally prior in my career, and I can tell you that they are committed investigators to this missing children's investigation.
In nearly every case of missing children, the focus immediately turns to the family. Are authorities looking at the family?
The stepfather, Daniel Martel, confirmed that he was aware of the suspicions surrounding him, stating, of course, he was a prime suspect right from the beginning. To address these suspicions, he asked for the polygraph exam willingly to clear it up for everyone. He described the polygraph process, admitting he was extremely nervous. The very first question the examiners asked him was, "Did you kill Lilly and Jack?" Martel identified passing the polygraph as a turning point. He noticed the suspicion from investigators began to taper off after that point. The most notable change was the frequency of communication. Initially, he was in contact with police almost daily. After the polygraph, contact dropped to maybe once every 5 days now. Martel interprets this shift to mean that the eyes are not on him and that the investigators don't see him as part of the disappearance. He emphasized that he gave police everything, including his phone, banking information, and Google GPS data, to show them he wanted to get the investigation moving and had nothing to do with it. Martel is certain the children are not in the woods due to the scale of the initial searches and subsequent use of specialized resources. He broke search teams put in over 12,000 man-hours. Cadaver dogs were brought in to search the property, the blanket site, and the pipeline trail, and Martel noted that they did not find or signify any human remains. Martel believes that given the overwhelming resources used, the conclusion that the children are not in the woods should be case closed. He thinks the focus should now be on looking elsewhere. Early in the investigation, Martel had asked authorities to monitor the New Brunswick border and nearby airports in case of an abduction. He stated that he has pointed many fingers regarding alternative theories and thinks people should look where those fingers have been pointed, which he talks about in this next clip.
I know the truth. I didn't kill Lilly and Jack.
It's been 6 weeks now since you've seen Lilly and Jack. I just want to ask, how are you holding up?
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know like what happened. It's been from sadness to anger at this point. And I know the RCMP and major crimes are working around the clock trying to piece everything together, and I'm grateful for that. But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods, and where are they?
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
You felt that from the beginning?
Yeah.
But you don't feel that now?
No, I don't feel that at all. I asked for the lie detector exam, the polygraph exam. I gave them my phone. I told them I, do drug tests because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. Mm-hmm. I know the person that said those rumors, and it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Was there any kind of party?
No.
Was there any kind of gathering that someone might have thought was a party?
No.
There were no people at the house?
No. Not the night before.
Okay, you mentioned you offered to take a polygraph test.
Yeah.
Did the RCMP take you up on that?
Yes, it did.
And how did that unfold?
That unfolded in my favor. They obviously know I wasn't lying about anything.
So they said, "Yep, great, thank you. Come in for a polygraph test."
Yeah, it took a little while to set up. And
when did you do that test?
I don't know the exact date, but that would be at least 3 weeks ago, probably.
So roughly 3 weeks after the disappearance.
Yeah.
And I think most Canadians wouldn't have any idea what's involved with that. Can you describe the process? You go in and just tell us right from the start.
We go in, sit down in a big comfy chair, and they have multiple sensory pads. You have them underneath your forearms, you have them underneath your butt, and you have them underneath your feet with your shoes off. You have a sweat gland on one finger. You have a measuring instrument for blood flow that goes in and out of your hand, and you have a cuff on your arm for blood pressure to measure your pulse.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lilly and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What went through your mind when someone's asking you that question so point blank like that?
Your mind has a massive release of chemicals, I guess you would call them. It's like your stress levels just astronomically through the roof, and your body doesn't know what to do, because it's not every day the way you're hooked up to machines in an interrogation room where someone asks you questions like that.
What other kinds of questions did they ask you?
All the questions pertain to the death of Lilly and Jack. Are you accessory to the murder of Lilly and Jack? They were all.
So all of the questions assumed that the children are no longer alive?
Yeah.
There were no questions at all about, did you take them somewhere? Could they be somewhere?
No.
The police have done a number of polygraph tests. They've done 53 formal interviews. Do you know who these people are?
Yeah.
That's a lot of interviews.
It is a lot of interviews. A lot of them are my family, people who live in the area. And those interviews, typically my interview was 4 hours. And a lot of the interviews from my family were 1-2 hours. So there's a lot of time taken up, and they ask detailed questions.
Do you know who else actually took a polygraph test?
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to say anything that's going to impede the investigation.
Okay. When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately, right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
And how did that feel?
Good.
And did you feel that there was any further suspicion on you after that point, or was that sort of conclusive?
No, that was really when I seen the turning point for it starting to taper off with investigators.
Do you know if Malaya has taken one?
I don't know if I can say it, but I will anyway. Yes, she did take one.
Okay, she took one. Do you know the result?
No. RCMP weren't allowed to tell me I asked.
You said you feel like everyone in the world wants to know what happened to Lilly and Jack.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think this is getting so much attention?
Well, just the mysterious and nature of everything and how strange everything is. The RCMP, you know, I mean, they have to keep a tight lip on everything, but there's a lot more that meets the eye with the case.
Is there something that you think the public doesn't know that you can share, that you want the public to know?
That's a hard one, because I don't want to impede the investigation in any way. It is still a missing persons investigation. It hasn't pivoted to any type of criminal investigation. But the kids were seen the day before. I know a lot of people didn't know that. I still see a lot of stuff online that the kids could have been missing for days. They were out of school for days, and they were seen in the Glasgow area on camera the day before disappearance in the afternoon.
Where was that?
I don't know if I can say that, but it was near the Highland Square Mall.
Was it with you?
It was with me, Malaya, and Meadow, and Lilly and Jack were there too.
And are the police aware of that?
The police were aware of that since.
Do they have that video?
Yes, they do. I also talked to my coworker in the parking lot as well, and he verified that with investigators as well. So, for all the speculation, they were gone days ahead of time, or they were seen the afternoon on camera before disappearance.
Why do you think the police are asking for video dating back, days before that?
Well, the reason for that is they want to see the traffic of the vehicles on the roads in the area, right? Maybe vehicles that were traveling that area a lot over the last few days prior to hand, or vehicles that weren't seen in the area, or vehicles that were seen in the area, like local people that are, making frequent trips past the house, or which it's all considered evidence. I mean, the more pictures and videos is the better.
They say they have hundreds of hours of video.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if they found anything on those videos?
I think it was up to 2 weeks ago, they had footage that they examined for evidence that was 8 kilometers diameter out from the house. So that was after a month. That's how long it took to get footage and review it 8 kilometers out. So
but what's on the video?
I don't know. I'm only limited by what they tell me.
How often are they in touch with you?
Investigators now, I'd say maybe once every 5 days. And usually I'm the one who calls or messages them.
And how's that changed over the course of the 6 weeks?
Well, from the beginning it was almost daily, tapering off to where It's only like once every 5 days now.
And how do you feel about that?
It's good and bad. I mean, I like to talk to them in person about any little small details I come up with or anything I can try to bring to their attention which may help the investigation. So I don't get to see them often, so it's always over phone or messaging, and it's hard to really convey what you want to say when you're not in person. But then I also know the eye's not on me. The investigators don't see me as part of the disappearance.
How do you know that?
Well, when you're going from daily to tapering off every 5 days, I mean, I already gave them everything on my phone. I'm the one who originally said, here, take my phone. We'll go through all my banking information. We'll go through all my stuff on my GPS from Google.
And you were offering all that up right
Yeah,
from the
I offered
beginning.
everything.
And why were you doing that?
To show them that I want to get the investigation moving. I know I have nothing to do with any of it. A lot of speculation is, you killed the kids. We'll just come out and say it straight as it is.
What do you think when you read that?
It's a lot of nonsense, obviously. I know the truth. I didn't kill Lilly and Jack. And I just think a lot of people online they're seeking drama, that's the main thing. Everybody's allowed their own opinion, like I said before, but it's hard on the people that were actually there and missing the children.
That was a compelling segment. In your opinion, Daniel, the stepfather, staked a lot of his innocence on voluntarily taking and passing a polygraph test. How effective is this single action in moving the needle of suspicion away from him? And what, if anything, does it fail to tell us about the children's disappearance?
Daniel's action of voluntarily taking and passing a polygraph test is highly effective in shifting the public perception and the initial investigative focus away from him. However, it is not definitive proof of innocence and has significant limitations in a complex missing persons case. How does the polygraph help Daniel? In the absence of evidence, the public often assumes the last person to see the children is involved. Daniel's voluntary submission to a polygraph, followed by him stating he passed, is a powerful counter-narrative. It gives him a crucial measure of credibility and allows the public to view him as a grieving, cooperative family member, not just a prime suspect. For the RCMP, the result likely helped them quickly conclude that the initial search shouldn't be focused on a crime committed by Daniel in the home. This effectively moved them to pursue other avenues, like the children wandering off, so it served a vital function as an investigative filter. And now, what the polygraph fails to tell us. Legal admissibility, most importantly, polygraph results are not considered reliable legal evidence in Canadian courts. They measure physiological responses to questions, not truth, and a determined person can sometimes pass, even if deceptive. Knowledge versus action. The polygraph can only confirm that Daniel was truthfully answering questions like, "Did you kill Lilly and Jack?" It cannot prove he has no knowledge of what happened to them after they left the house, nor can it eliminate the possibility that someone else in the home was involved, which is why Daniel mentioned the mother, Malaya, also took one. The mystery remains. The core question, where are the children, is completely untouched by the polygraph. Daniel's statement only confirms that he didn't murder them. It doesn't provide the mechanism of their disappearance. If the children were abducted, or if they are deceased elsewhere, the polygraph tells us nothing about who is responsible. In summary, the polygraph was a successful PR move and an effective investigative tool for the police to clear Daniel, but it did not provide a single piece of evidence that leads to the recovery of Lilly and Jack.
Thank you. That was a really insightful breakdown, especially putting Daniel's actions, like the voluntary polygraph and handing over his digital life, into the proper context. It's clear that he's been effective in dealing with the overwhelming public speculation, and it certainly seems to have helped the RCMP move their focus. But, as you pointed out, the polygraph is an investigative tool, not a solution. The core mystery remains, and there's a huge difference between being legally cleared and actually finding Lilly and Jack. The core of this tragedy boils down to two irreconcilable beliefs. On one side, the biological grandmother is convinced that the children are gone and were taken, stating flatly that someone had to have hurt them. On the other hand, the household maintains a steady hope that the children are alive and vehemently defends the innocence of her son, Daniel, the stepfather. We'll explore that dramatic contradiction next.
My heart tells me these babies are gone. My heart tells me that. I am the grandmother of Lilly and Jack. I am the grandmother on the biological father's side. My son is Cody Sullivan. He's not in jail. He's never been out west. He does not have a criminal record. And right now he's living with me. He has been for 9 months.
How did you find out that Lilly and Jack were missing?
The mom of my grandson called me. We were in town. She asked if I heard the news. She sent me the article that was on Facebook showing the kids missing. I couldn't call Malay yet, so I waited till we got home. And I called, well, I didn't call her, I texted her. And she told me that, yes, that the kids were missing, that they've been missing since this morning. I was in a state of panic, shock. But in the back of my mind, I kept saying, well, they'll find them. I mean, I'm assuming that they'd find them. So I told her, well, we'll head out first thing in the morning and help with the search. It was around between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. A couple of cop cars pull into the driveway. The lights wake me up that I'm a fairly light sleeper, so I see the cars pull in, so I knew what it was. So they come inside. They only stood in the kitchen. They wanted me to wake Cody up, and they wanted to know when was the last time he had seen the kids, and that they were just making sure that the kids weren't here. And then they left. So we showed up Saturday morning, me and my sister, and we met up with my daughter, and we started, well, I asked Malaya, I said, Malaya, I said, you know your kids. Nobody knows their kids like their mom. Where do your kids normally go to play out in the yard? What direction do they usually like to explore? And she said, well, they always play up in the little woods right on the side. I said, well, okay. I said, we'll start from that point and we'll work our way out. We had spoken to a search and rescue, and we weren't allowed on the other side because that's where they were searching at the time. So we just started combing through the woods up through there. We were gone for a couple of hours. I'm yelling for Lilly and Jack. We always called Jack Jackie Boy. And yeah, that went on for a few hours, but those woods, I started to feel that I can't see them being in the woods. There's trees everywhere. You literally have to climb over trees, climb under bushes. It is really, really thick. We come back out, and I went in to see Malay again. I assumed she was in shock. She was very, very non-emotional, very just flat, monotone. But Malay is very soft-spoken anyway, that she's not usually excitable. I thought that's made her a really great mom. She was an excellent mom. She never raised her voice at the kids. That it was always, now Lily, what did mommy say? And I used to think, now if anybody's meant to be a mom, it was her. A part of me still feels that.
Why only a part of you still feels that? What do you mean?
After seeing the place, seeing the condition of the home, it was like the total opposite of what I knew of Malaya. She was always clean, very clean about herself, about the kids, about her home. This home looked more like a camp. Now, I don't know if it's from all the people that were there, because I didn't show up till the day after, but it was very unkempt. I was pretty surprised.
I love you.
Lily is, she was my little dream girl, the first granddaughter. And I loved that she had the brown hair and she had a space between her teeth, which I had when I was a kid. So yeah, she was our little princess. Jack was such a sober, serious little baby that he didn't like to smile. You could tickle him, and he would look at you ever so serious, like he was really studying you.
And so how long were your son and Malaya together?
3.5 years, I think it was, yeah. I thought they were the picture-perfect family. Then Malaya started to tell me that they were having problems and she wasn't happy. She told me that she wasn't happy and she thinks she's going to leave. And I told her that we supported whatever she decides, that one good parent is way better than 2 broken ones.
And then how did that change your relationship with Lilly and Jack?
I thought it was going to change, but it didn't. Yeah, it didn't change. Malaya, she was a sweetheart. Anytime we wanted to see the kids, she'd come by for a visit. She'd bring them by all the time. It was actually really, really good.
So when was the last time you saw the children?
1.5 years, almost, really. It's about 1 year and 9 months.
How did you deal with that?
Really, to be honest, maybe I didn't deal good enough with it. I looked at the fact that when her and my son separated, my son walked away. He chose to walk away, that she wanted sole custody of the kids. So she petitioned the courts for sole custody, and when she did that, he said he was done.
Were you ever formally questioned?
Yes.
So then it's about a month after Lilly and Jack are last seen that they come and formally question you.
So it's about 3 weeks. They questioned Cody for 1.5 hours in the vehicle, and then they questioned me for 2 hours in the vehicle.
How did that feel to you?
I didn't mind. I mean, to me, I expected, I'm the grandmother, so it wasn't a surprise to me. I'm assuming the sooner they do all that, I wish they would have done it sooner, that the sooner they can move on. So I didn't have a problem. My son was a little upset about it. He said they made him feel like he did something wrong, and he said he hadn't seen the kids in 3 years. So he was a little upset about it, that he said that they really come at him hard. They wanted to know what her favorite color was, and he said, they were babies when I seen them last. He said, she was just learning what she wanted to figure out to eat. I don't know what her color is. So yeah, he was pretty upset.
Have they ever talked to him again since then?
A couple of days ago, they had contact, and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything was fine.
And have they ever given you any information?
No, it's always the same thing.
Which is what?
They've got everybody on it. They are looking at all avenues. They can't divulge any information that could compromise their investigation. It's the exact same words.
Why are you so sure they're not in the woods?
I have children. I have grandchildren. And I see what kids are like through the woods. There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not. I think somebody hurt these kids. I think somebody hurt them.
You don't sound very hopeful.
No. Our last day searching on Monday and seeing the woods and seeing the searchers and everybody everywhere. There's no way those kids are in the woods. There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old. And they deserve so much better than what they got.
So this is the patio
This
door
is the patio door
that Jack and Lilly would have
that Jack and Lilly came out of.
So it's the morning of May 2nd. Take me through what happened.
Okay, I was up at 6 o'clock, sat in there and had my tea, and then on Facebook, 7 o'clock, I get up, come over here, fed my chickens. My brother, Ron, called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town with them. And I said no. I said I'm staying home. I said I'm going back to bed. Okay, I went and I laid down. Next thing you know, my dog started barking and the kids were out in the yard. Now you can see there's 2 swings where the kids play. My bedroom is right there. I heard the kids. This is where the kids' swings are. This is where they always played.
And so that's where
I heard them. And I can hear everything in that trailer. If 2 kids get out of a fence, and Jack and Lily are all the time yelling, especially Lily, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go, Jackie. It's all I hear out here. When the kids get out of the fence and come out through here, I would have heard them yelling, come on, Jackie, let's go, let's go. I didn't hear anything. The next thing I heard is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lily. I didn't get up because I thought he was yelling for Jack and Lily in the house. So the next thing you know, I came out of the trailer after I heard Daniel, about, I'd say, 10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door, was standing here. Malaya was standing right here with Meadow on her hip. And I come out and I said, what's up? She said, Jack and Lily are missing. I said, how long? She said, about 20 minutes. I closed the door, got my boots on, came out here, ran up in the woods. Just right up here. The kids have a little fort that they made out of sticks and fir branches, and that's where they go. You can see them and hear them. We went for walks in the woods. I had to practically carry Jack through the woods because there was no way that he was walking through all that tree falls and bushes. I did this whole area. There's an old road up back. When I got up to the top of the hill, I met Daniel. And I said to him, I said, did you find them? He said, no. He said, you coming with me? I said, no. I said, I'm going to search this area. Because when she told me the kids were missing, you automatically think they went into the woods. That was my first instinct. Mm-hmm. So I went up and I did this whole area, this whole wooded area, right up to the top of the dirt road, came back down here and came back down the side of the road, came back down here and came back up the same spot. I went back into the house. By the time the cops were here, I don't know exactly what time, I didn't take my phone. The cops were here. There was a bench sitting here, or a sawhorse, it's over there, was sitting here. I was sitting on it, bawling my eyes out. I was crying because I blame myself for not getting up that morning to see the kids. Because if I would have got up, this wouldn't have never happened. Okay? That's why I was crying.
We've heard a lot about the patio door.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go see that.
Sure.
So this is the patio door.
This is the patio door.
That Jack and Lily would have.
That Jack and Lily came out of.
Okay. And so tell us why we've heard about the patio door.
Because everybody's saying on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok that the patio door makes a noise. And why they didn't hear the door open. The bedroom is back there, okay?
That far window
The
there.
last window is the bedroom.
And so they would have come out this door.
They would have come out this door.
That morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the swing set.
Yes.
And that's when you heard them.
That's when I heard them. Right here in this area here. I plan on putting a pool up this year for the kids. You need level ground for a pool. That's what I was doing. I was leveling out the ground to set up a pool.
And this is the Thursday.
This is Thursday.
Right.
Friday, all the investigators, search and rescue and everything, right around here was where they found the only footprint.
This is where the boot...
This is where I was raking that night. That's where the boot print was found, in the mud where I was raking.
I thought there was 2 boot prints.
There was supposed to be a footprint found way up on the pipeline.
Right.
Malaya sent me the picture of it. That's all I know. There was a footprint found.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the footprint was here. The only one that they can confirm that was Lilly and Jack's was right here.
So it was child size.
Yes, a man, one of the investigators came in here and was measuring it all. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to lie. The reason why I wanted you guys to come here and do the interview here is to show you exactly where everything took place. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And to show people that this is what happened. All the stuff that people, all the rumors and accusations about us murdering the kids and burying them on the property, this place has been searched thoroughly. The well has been checked, the septic tank, all the barns were searched. My RV was searched 3 times. The trailer was searched. This whole place was searched. If they want to come back and search again, they're more than welcome.
You've talked about drones flying over your property. You've talked about cars driving down the road and slowing down. What's that been like?
I'm scared to go out sometimes in my own property. I mostly stay around back here. And if I do go out front for anything, I usually have my head down because I don't want people to see who I am. That is me myself. It's not because I'm hiding from anybody. I don't like to be on camera. I don't like my picture taken. I'm just a quiet person that just wants to be left alone, and I mind my own business. I'm just a hermit.
Do you feel as if the finger has been pointed towards you and Daniel?
Yes, I do. Because I live on the property. Come on.
Do you think your son had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily?
No, I don't believe Daniel had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily. Our heart don't lie, and my heart is telling me that my kid did not have nothing to do with this, and I had nothing to do with this. You know, if something bad happens, you get like your heart drops. Mine hasn't dropped. Deep down in my heart, I do believe Jack and Lily are alive. It's not because of what people are saying. It's my heart tells me that they are alive.
Both the grandmother Belinda, the mother of Cody Sullivan, and the property resident Janie, Daniel's mother, were adamant about the severity of the woods, describing the terrain as thick and difficult to navigate. How significant are these first-hand accounts in disproving the initial theory that Lily and Jack simply wandered off, and what does it suggest to you about where the investigation's focus needs to shift?
The first-hand accounts of the woods, from both the biological grandmother and the property resident, are absolutely critical and highly significant in disproving the initial theory of accidental wandering. In fact, they may be the most convincing pieces of non-forensic information we have. And here is why they are so impactful. 1, they establish the physical baseline. When the grandmother says the woods are really, really thick, and the resident describes having to practically carry Jack through similar areas, they are establishing a physical impossibility. For 2 small children, one being 4 and the other 6, to quickly and silently navigate the dense, brush-filled terrain to the point where they are completely lost is highly implausible. Children typically don't move quietly and efficiently through thick brush. They get stuck, they get upset, and they yell. And 2, they validate the failed search after weeks of intense searching by experts. The fact that no definitive sign, trace, or article of clothing was found is the physical confirmation of what the families are saying. The children were never deep in those woods. These accounts justify the grandmother's conclusion that the children are gone and the residents' certainty that she would have heard them if they tried to leave the property. And lastly, what does this suggest for the investigation? The consistent rejection of the wandered-off theory by those who know the land suggests the investigation needs to fully pivot and commit to one of 2 other scenarios. If the children were taken, the window of opportunity was extremely narrow. The time between them playing on the swings and the stepfather noticing their absence. The focus needs to be entirely on the few minutes they were playing unsupervised and whether an external vehicle or person could have accessed the property silently. While the stepfather has been largely cleared by the polygraph, the police still must account for the children's complete absence. If the children did not leave the property alive, the focus must shift to who had the means and opportunity to quickly and effectively remove and conceal their bodies from the extensive search area, whether it's an action by a household member or an accomplice. The Woods theory, in my opinion, should now be considered closed. The answer to the children's disappearance lies either immediately surrounding the trailer or far away from it.
That is a very powerful conclusion, and it forces us to dismiss what was likely the initial, easier assumption that the kids wandered off. When you combine the first-hand testimony about the impossible terrain with the fact that professional search and rescue teams found absolutely nothing, it seems undeniable that the children did not get lost in the forest. This brings us to a starker reality. As you've laid out, we are left looking either at an abduction that happened with incredible speed and silence right off that property, or a successful internal cover-up and removal. Either way, the woods are not the answer. Thank you, David, for synthesizing those narratives and giving us such a clear-eyed view of what the family's statements mean for the actual path of the investigation. This is the case that has broken two families and completely stumped law enforcement. We have a stepfather cleared by a polygraph, a grandmother convinced of murder, and a vast empty forest. If you have any information, no matter how small, that could assist the RCMP, please contact Major Crimes or Crime Stoppers of Nova Scotia immediately at 1-800-222-8477. Every tip matters. The ultimate riddle, which narrative is lying, the complete absence of evidence, the massive search that found nothing, the cadaver dogs coming up empty, leaves us with one terrifying conclusion. The children were never there to begin with. So, the question we leave you to mull over is not where they are, but which story is true. If they didn't wander and they weren't found on the property, does the answer have to be found by re-examining that public sighting in New Glasgow the day before? Was the key clue hidden in those 5 days of traffic footage? Or is the truth hidden within one of those tired, conflicting family narratives? What do you think happened to Lilly and Jack? Do you agree with the search manager that they are hiding in the woods, or do you believe they were abducted, as some family members fear? Let us know your theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth coverage of cold cases and missing person investigations with SYM Radio here on YouTube. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive, and take care, everyone.